have a story to tell.
You just gave me little chills. You keep going.
Hi, I'm JESS EVA ALLEN, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Northern California. The Unveiling is an EP, and it's been a process. It's been a journey. The songs are my anthems, really. That reminds me that I am enough, that I am powerful when I use my voice. Using your voice musically also stems from like this confidence and this trust in your voice. When I started singing, I was like 5 in a choir. I stopped singing for a while, and then when I was 13, I started to jump in lessons again. I had a family member who said, well, Jessica couldn't even sing Happy Birthday when she was young. And because of that one comment, like, I doubted my like teenage years of singing. I was like, but I love it so much. But wait, she said I couldn't really sing, and she was a singer.
That was her.
Yeah, I kind of did. I was like, well, but it made me stronger eventually. I realized that everyone has their own perspective of what your voice is, or should be, or should sound like, or should say. And I have received training, but like no matter how much training I receive, actually trusting my voice and being confident in it, that is a very scary, vulnerable journey.
It's really interesting that you just used that word, because when you told me you were going to be doing this project, I was super excited because I actually am a nerd. I looked up the word journey because everyone talks about their journey, right? When you said process, and it's from one place to another, usually taking a rather long time.
Lorna, I met her when I was about 15.
When we both were attending the same church.
She was a worship leader at the time.
I started talking to her about music.
I saw that she had an album out, and I said, wow, I want an album.
And then offered to train her, and she took me up on it.
And I'm forever grateful because she defined my career.
She was like a sponge.
I've always wanted to write with my music, and at that time I was only performing.
Whatever I kind of challenged her with, she was game.
She really took me under her wing.
In mentoring her, she worked for me and did a lot of things.
From like painting her house,
database,
walking her dogs,
to shopping. I'll try not to like get emotional, but I literally have seen you grow up.
It's almost like you raised me. And I actually learned how to cook because I cooked for you and John. I started coaching because of her. I started creating music because of her. That's what you do so well, is you take people in and you inspire them by doing life with them. She's been a really amazing mentor and coach to me, and friend as well. But there's a lot of important things along the way that aren't just training.
I like to fight for people's dreams.
You do.
And when you would
I
don't know if I want to say this out loud, but I want to do this with my life. And then you finally, I think, came to a point where I thought you were ready to start recording your songs. And then all this space came. What is she doing? You just kind of disappeared from that dream. I couldn't figure out, what is she waiting for? For whatever reason, there was something that was very internal. So it was kind of a journey to have her start to really open up and be, I should say, just open to her audience. Kind of asking her actually why she thought it was necessary for her to kind of be closed-mouthed. Did that stepping back come from anything in particular? I was always curious about that. Is it too personal?
I don't know. I'm already tearing up here, but like, I think it was just fear. It was like straight out fear, you know, and just being owned by that.
As she processed that, she realized it was because it was her way of staying safe. What was the biggest fears that drove that?
I think that being judged, being not able to handle like people looking at me, I was scared of that. Like, I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust God. I didn't trust the process. That I would be safe, that I would be okay. And so it was just kind of easier to put it off.
I kind of encouraged her through time to not always play it safe.
But then again, like, this song Enough came from that achy place. It was like, if I don't continue with this, I think I'm gonna die. Or live this life that's mediocre and always scared. I just don't want to live like that. So here I am. I'm 30 and I'm doing this now,
Hey,
you know?
sometimes you have to simmer a bit to get to that boil, and I think you're at that boil point, which is really great. I've always loved Jessica's writing. And then I remember the day I asked you, do you write songs? You're like, no, not really. And then we wrote a song together. And then I think a few lessons later, she came back and said, I wrote a song. I said, you did? And so she just kept coming in with songs, and I was just struck by how well crafted they were. She was like sort of a natural at it.
The songs that I've created in this specific project are identity songs. I used to think, like, to be confident I had to be super loud. Well, actually no, like, in the quiet moments is where we can find our confidence as well.
Whew. I think I'm a person that thrives being around people, but I'm also a person that thrives from quiet. And I think that I appreciate knowing that about myself, that I don't have to be around people to be happy, and I'm not afraid when I'm alone.
There was a time in my life where I was depressed and it was really hard to get out of bed, and I was broke, far away from the people I loved, and I was lonely, and I had to share what was going on inside me to actually receive fulfillment and like beauty in my life again. Songwriting's been a way for me to express myself, to process emotions in like a safe space where it comes to be a story, and it gets to be beautiful in the retelling of it. The first song that I wrote was I Am Enough. That was like me in my room, and I was like, I have a story to tell.
She had something to say. Whether people accepted it or not, that's not her responsibility, but it's her responsibility to be herself, because there was someone out there that needed to hear whatever it was that she had to say.
Once I became unstuck myself, I actually founded a program to help other people do that. So I mean, it's like, wow, generosity is such a powerful thing.
I think that she is inspired by also inspiring others.
Because I believe it's an important work that I get to do. Vulnerability and intimacy and unveiling the stories that we have, like, there's so much power in that. Human connection, you know, again, in a time where we've been very separated. I think it's really important. Because it's been important in my life. And I'm like, man, can't be the only one.
She wants to be able to hold people's hands and to feel safe, and then have them go out and probably pass on that same message to others.
The journey to share actually took like 10 years to actually share my stuff and step out of hiding. Yeah.
And my job is to mess that all up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Meeting Randy was part of that. I came in and recorded my first song a few years ago, and he was just very encouraging.
She stepped into a place by doing the work little by little to go, okay, let me see what's out there, and let me do it scared.
And I was so scared when I first started recording with Randy. It's different, like, digging deep and performing from the heart in a recording studio. I was like, oh, this is terrible. I'm so hard on myself. But Randy was like, no, this is great.
To get a good performance out of an artist, the artist has to be comfortable. So if you're not comfortable with me, then you're not going to give me your all.
Yeah.
And you're not going to give me the extra 20% over 100 that I need to get, because to get your emotion through that microphone, through all these electronics, and out the speakers and into somebody's ears and to their heart, we need some serious chemistry going on there. So your comfort level is key for me.
He made it so easy, and he made it enjoyable and fun.
Almost positive. I said, we're going to do a vocal take, but then it might not be the final one.
Yeah.
Because you have to birth this thing as a child in the beginning, and then you're taking your first steps. And so, yeah, they're cute, but hey, I've grown. I can do so much more now. So I think your life experiences, I mean, we had a small conversation earlier about, things you've been going through. So that all helps.
As I got into the recording process deeper, I found out he was an amazing co-writer as well. I mean, this is what I appreciate about you, is like you bring the vision to the rest of the song, the musicians. We can add strings
Your
here.
vision.
Yeah. Well,
That's important.
Having a producer who's also co-writer is huge. I've been very perfectionistic, hard on myself, trying to hide. This project is about like actually doing the deep work and actually getting to that authentic place in the studio.
And sometimes it takes quite a bit of time to grow. I mean, you have to grow as a person.
And now this is time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time. So that's why it's called The Unveiling, and it's stripping off perfection, stripping off fear.
She is just driven now that she sees the possibilities.
In a time where we're all at home, right, all the time, it's like, wow, you have to deal with your stuff that you've been avoiding, right? I just couldn't get away from it. It was like my life was kind of paused a little bit until I actually finished this project. So that's why now is important.
I've always told her that I love her writing, her melodies. To see it come into her unveiling, proud mama.
When did you start working on these songs?
Probably around 3 years ago. It's been a process.
Path. Journey.
Unveiling. Slow unveiling. But I'm ready. I mean, this is the time. I'm ready.